Can't hear you.
What's up, everybody? It's time for the
There we
hype.
go.
We are live with the hype episode number 120, mojobreak.com. Dan is joining us live from Florida. C-Rad's a little under the weather. He's saving his voice for you guys later on in the breaks. How's everybody doing in the chat? We got an action-packed episode today. We're going to talk a little Panini blockchain. We're going to talk a little Sakuya Dumbuya. We're going to talk a ripped one-of-one Lauri Markkanen and how it affects the hobby. It was big news. We got to talk about it. Dan, Florida, how is it?
Markkanen. You mean Markkanen?
Mark-a-rockin'.
Markkanen. Tomato. Yeah, man, Florida. Here at the Upper Deck Certified Diamond Dealer Convention. It's good stuff. Met Mo Bamba again.
You met Mo Bamba?
Again.
You're close to his height, right?
Yeah, I was gonna dunk on him, but I mean, I was like, whatever. No, he's still a big dude.
Nice. That's awesome. So the Sunshine State, and it's first day there. So did you see some old friends, and what kind of news? I know it's early, but any kind of news that have came out of the Upper Deck Florida convention yet?
Nothing yet. They did have the entertainment category presentation today. They're going to be doing, I think they had already done it before, but they're going to keep on doing the X-Files, which they're going to do that. They have a Marvel Metal Universe that looks pretty cool with like PMGs that's coming out.
Ooh.
They're going to still do Marvel Masterpieces. I mean, you know, it's tough to really get into it because it's not really our thing, but there's definitely some cool stuff coming out. They were going over secondary market value. The Spider-Man autos go for a lot. And I wasn't aware of that. So that was kind of cool. I think it's Tom Holland who plays Spider-Man, which I remember Tobey Maguire, but did Tobey Maguire play Spider-Man?
He did.
He did? But yeah, I guess Tom Holland autos go for like $1,500 or something like that. So they were sharing that information. They had a guy talk about social marketing, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, which was, kind of the same thing we've been through. I mean, we've sat through that presentation multiple times before, so wasn't really learning anything new per se, but I mean, it's fun to see people that we only see once a year. So it's cool to see the shops representing. I do got to say, more people at this event than I have ever seen at any of the other Upper Deck Diamond Dealer conferences that we've been to. So people either love Disneyland or love Florida. I don't know, but next year it will be in LA and it's confirmed. So we'll be back home.
Nice. So what's the talk of the show amongst some of the card shops and some breakers there? What's the early talk of the show? What's the hot topic?
I mean, when you get everybody together, you know what the hot topic is. It's allocation and why can't I get more product? And it's funny because everybody's doing well, but you still got to find some things to complain about. So that's the main topic between the dealers. You know how it goes.
Absolutely. So yeah, it looks like it's going on January 7th to the 9th at Orlando, Florida, Disney World Swan Resort. So pretty exciting. Hopefully there'll be some new stuff that comes out. I know I'm itching to hear some Jordan and LeBron news. If you guys haven't, if you're new to this hobby, and for one, thanks for listening to our show. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast on any of the podcast outlets. But I'm interested in finding out more info on, is there going to be more LeBron? Is there going to be Jordan? And where can I get some new LeBron and Jordan stuff?
Well, I haven't heard anything yet, but you'll be the first to know. I'll let you know. Tomorrow they talk about hockey, so that'll be a fun one to sit through. See what else is going to be happening. I don't foresee any crazy changes, but we'll see. They
Absolutely.
do have the. I think they have the. They have another little get together. They didn't tell me who's going to be there to sign and take pictures, but they did say they're going to have a guest tonight. So I don't know who it is. It's probably going to be the main one. Last year it was Gretzky. I think the year before it might have been, was it Brodeur or Patrick Waugh? I think it was Brodeur.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So I don't know who. I don't know. Maybe it's Jordan. Maybe it's Tiger Woods.
Could be. Is Haynes there?
Who knows? No.
Okay. So maybe he's not. So
You mean the shirt company?
yeah.
Hanes?
That's where you could find the packs of Jordan, apparently, is you can get Jordan autos and the Hanes underwear packages, which we talked about in prior episodes. It was hot for a little minute there. So, yeah, so that's pretty exciting stuff. I'm holding down the fort here. I'm kind of sad that I am missing the event, but it's a long trek when you have kids to be able to go out to all the way across country to Florida, even though the whole Disney thing, I'm a big Disney fan, so that's the part I'm missing. But I will be at the Upper Deck thing next year in LA. So, but we do have Tops coming up. I'll be there. I'll be corresponding over there at Tops, and so look forward to that. But we're going to jump right into the topic that everybody's been talking. It's kind of old news now. Sorry, we didn't have a show last week, but, it was busy being the new year and stuff. But now that we're in 2020, there was a story that hit multiple forums. It hit Twitter, it hit Instagram, and it seemed to be the topic for a good solid week because where it came from was one of the bigger breakers. I'm not going to lie, they do more volume than us, and that's Platinum Card Breaks. So they actually had a little snafu, and this is how it all started. If you haven't heard about the story, is this card came out and it was magged up a little bit incorrectly. As you can see on the left side, there's a lot more white showing, and the right side's kind of cinched into the magnetic. They put it on their Instagram, and that spurred a lot of conversation. They have a lot of people following them, and they have a lot of people that hate them, that just don't like the way that they do business. So there was a lot of hatred on this, and that became a spoof video by Wax Museum Podcast, which is a pretty good podcast. I would recommend listening to it if you're a basketball fan. He just did a little spoof video about taping the top loader and putting the card in wrong, and it was wearing gloves. So that turned into G basically taking the card and saying, I didn't damage the card, or it's not damaged. This is how you damage a card. And he was on camera during break time, cut the card into 3 pieces, and the whole internet went crazy. There was so much things going on. There was so many comments about this. Mostly negative. You're destroying a card. You're destroying a 1-of-1 Nebula, Lurie Markkanen. And to be clear, they paid the person $600, which the card, what do you think the card's worth, Dan?
I think it's like a $200 to $300 card probably. But it's hard to say it's a 1-of-1. So if somebody is a super collector of Markkanen, however you say his name, then they're going to be pretty bummed. And that card is like, you can't put a price tag on it. So it could be worth 2, 3, 4, 5,000 to that one person. But I think they paid above what I would consider market value for it. I think that it was a knee-jerk reaction. I think that if they had to do it over again, they probably wouldn't do it. It actually was a topic that came up last night with some of the shops and dealers here, and they were talking about it, and they were just like, well, they did it for press, and there's no such thing as like bad press. Even if they were getting a bunch of negative comments on it and negative feelings towards them as a company, I don't really see it that way. I think if they had to do it over again, they probably wouldn't have chose that way to do it.
Yeah, and we get thousands of emails, and I've got some funny examples of stuff that might rile you up if you're in our shoes. I have a couple examples of that coming up, so a little teaser into the next segment. But, I have a couple different points of view on it because I've met them. I've met both of them. I've hung out with David, who's the guy who breaks typically in the morning, and G and his wife Megs are the ones that typically break at night, and I think they have another guy now that I heard in the background. I'm not familiar because I don't have any time by buying the brakes. But I have bought into their brakes. Sometimes if I'm into Definitive or if I'm into getting into Flawless, I'll jump in there late at night, and get into something. So, but I've hung out with D, and D actually was one of the guys that remembered my birthday the following year, because my birthday's around the National. So the next year he saw me, isn't it your birthday? I was like, yeah. So I was like, that was kind of some respect that he remembered my birthday. So I have a lot of respect for David. Now, in terms of G, the one who actually cut it up, we had a couple hot-headed run-ins. They apologized to us, so on and so forth. I don't think a lot of people get their personality. They're very aggressive. They're very fast-paced, and that's what works for their customers. It's not going to be for everybody. Their room, the way that it's handled, is not going to be for everybody. They do fillers. We don't do fillers. They have their own style that they pretty much do. And he basically probably had a long day and, cut up this card. Whether it's right or wrong, it was basically a triggered moment that he went on there and did it. I mean, his point of view was taking it out of circulation. I don't know if I would say that personally, but to each his own. Doesn't seem like it affected their brakes any. But as far as bad publicity, I don't think it's really affected them. So, and I don't know if it's affected them from a good standpoint either.
Yeah, I don't know. Man, this industry, people move on really fast. I mean, like you said before, it's old news. I mean, we are pretty much done talking about it, and we're going to move on to the next drama. I mean, there's a lot of people like to start and make drama and gossip in this industry. So we'll just move on to the next issue. We'll go back into, we'll find another trimmer or, another guy who's getting black labels or something like that with, 90% of the cards they submit. So we'll get back. I mean, something else will happen, but I mean, again, I have no issues with those guys at all. My first interaction with them at the Chicago National in 2000, was it 13? Was it 13 or maybe 14?
Somewhere around then.
Maybe 15. I don't know. 15. I don't know. It all blends in. But my first interaction with them wasn't great. I don't know, but it is what it is. I mean, obviously they're doing something right. They get a lot of people in the room. They move through a lot of product. I don't think this is going to affect their brand or their business at all. I think there's people who are jealous of them about how much product they run through, and they're trying to troll them. They're hoping it's going to knock them down, but it won't. I mean, they have a dedicated clientele base that isn't going to go anywhere.
What was your gut reaction when you first watched the video? I know it was I think it was it Monday night after we did breaks. What was your gut reaction?
I was the one who actually sent you guys the text about it.
Yeah.
I think I was the first one of us to actually notice it and see it. My gut reaction was, I understand. I get where nobody knows what happens behind the scenes doing what we do. We sometimes you want to do something like that, but you gotta think about it. You gotta think about what the repercussions are, and do you want to have to deal with all the drama afterwards? And again, that's why I say if they were to take a step back and do it over again, probably wouldn't handle it the same way. Probably would just kind of, laugh about it and just move on. But I get it. Sometimes I want to do stuff like that, but I have to stop myself and be like, do I want to have to deal with the repercussions if I do this? And we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's a 24-minute video that he put out afterwards, which is on their Instagram. You can kind of follow it as a public service announcement from G, so you can watch that. It's like a 24-minute video. So it kind of explains his piece a little bit more. But I guess my gut reaction at first I was like, wow, that's savage, like that he would do that. And I thought it was kind of an arrogant move, like, hey, money doesn't matter. That's how I took it at first. So I had two kind of points of view on it. I thought it was arrogant at first. But then I was like, man, I know how much crap we deal with on a day-to-day basis, how many crappy emails we deal with. And, somebody put a spoof video out on them. What you got to tell yourself, and this isn't any advice by any stretch of the imagination, but this is what I tell myself, is I tell myself that there's 1,000 to 2,000, whatever. I'm just making up numbers here. There's 3,000 people that enjoy our breaks, and maybe there's 2 or 3 people that don't. So by you reacting to the one person, the two people, you're kind of feeding into the minority. I don't want to say feeding into the trolls, but you're kind of alienating the people that support you that are good people, because there's a lot more good people that support you than there are people that are going to troll you for something that you mistakenly did. He mistakenly put that in a magnetic the wrong way. He was doing it fast. He mistakenly did it. I'm sure we've all done it. We just haven't taken pictures of it, or we put it in and adjusted it, stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure every breaker at some point.
Is that the main, that's kind of the main issue, right? It's the fact that, like, it's not that it was done incorrectly. It was the fact that there was a picture taken and then put on Instagram. Like, at what point, like, somebody should have probably noticed it. I think that's what everybody's negative reaction was to it, was the fact that, like, not only did it happen, but it was posted to show that it happened. So I don't know, man. Like,
now, and we have some comments in the chat, and I was definitely going to get to that. We're saying there's comments saying the card should have never been destroyed. And I want to think, what do you think Panini knows about this? Let's face it, Panini knows about this. Platinum is actually not invited to any Panini events. That I believe. I'm not. I can't go on record and say that for sure, but from what I've heard, they're not invited to any of the VIP events, any of the on-field stuff like that. That was before this. So, they're already kind of on Panini's radar. If you don't know how the business works, Panini doesn't sell direct to Platinum. They sell to somebody else, like a distributor or a online retailer. Those folks sell to Platinum. So there's no way for them to really, like, say, hey, we're not selling you product anymore, because they don't actually get it from Panini direct. But what I'm saying is I'm interested to see, and we probably won't, because, Panini's a company. They're not going to insert opinions on stuff like this. But I would like to know what Panini actually truly thinks about the situation.
They would obviously prefer if that didn't happen, but from a legal standpoint, I don't think they can do anything. I don't think they can go after. I mean, imagine the headache if they were to try to blackball them from being able to buy from everybody. They can't. I mean, Panini is in the business of selling sports cards. They can't start having vendettas and start alienating certain breakers or shops or online retailers to basically prove that they can. They can't do anything. They don't like it. They wish that didn't happen. What they can do is like what you were saying, not allow them to participate in any events. But do they care? Probably not.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and us breakers are pretty close knit. I mean, I talk to Rich on a daily basis, or a weekly basis at least, and we're bouncing around ideas on how everything could be done smoothly, and do you have a problem with this customer, or are you all kinds of ideas that we bounce around. And when we go to events, we're friends with a lot of, like, Cardsmith, Ultimate Box Breaks. We do things we had a football game with Ultimate Box Breaks, so it's we're not competing with each other. We're kind of friends. And Platinum, like besides what I said about David, they kind of have alienated themselves. They've kind of made themselves the underdog in a sense. I don't know if that's what they're going for, but there's been several times, like one incident at the Breaker Pavilion, I would say a couple years ago, where we had to buy $20,000 or $30,000 in product to get a booth. Other breakers had to spend $5,000 or $6,000 for their booth. And there was like 30 breakers at the Breaker Pavilion. I believe this was like 2 or 3 years ago. So they show up like 3 days. They show up on Saturday or something like that, because the VIP party's on Saturday. They didn't pay for a booth. They weren't part of the Breaker Pavilion. They go to the main stage, next to the main stage, with a box of opening day, with a case of opening day and some other stuff. I can't really remember because I was kind of far away. and they basically yell out free stuff for the kids. So there's stuff going on stage. We're all breaking. We all paid to be at that location, and they're out there throwing boxes and creating, a commotion in an area that people paid to be at. So I thought it was kind of like, come on, guys. We've all paid to be here. We all have taken product to be here.
And completely disrupted what was happening on the main stage. I think
Rob
and Ivan were currently, doing something. They had interviews going on, and they were doing their whole show, and it just, everybody just like panned over and just started looking, going like, what is happening right now? They kind of just went up and just took over the main stage. I don't know what the point of doing that was. I don't get it, but it is what it is. I mean, obviously I don't think they're trying to make friends. They don't care. I mean, I get it. Like, everybody should not focus on what other people are doing. I mean,
right.
Everybody needs to do better about that. And everybody's day-to-day life. Like, I need to do better about not worrying about what other people are doing. Just
Absolutely.
do what you do, and don't worry about the outside noise. Just, nothing that anybody else is going to do is going to affect what the being your level of productivity is not going to be affected by what other people are doing.
Right, exactly. But, like I said, we have, the reason I brought it up is because, they don't have a lot of people that would get their back because they haven't really kind of been part of that club in a sense. I think they like being the underdog, or they just, like you said, they don't care, or their point of doing it at the National, maybe they didn't know it was, like people paid to be there. They just wanted to get their name out. That was their way of advertising. They had product they didn't want, so they're going to dump it for free. I don't know, but it just was like a lot of people were kind of looking at each other going like, hey, we all paid to be here. And basically this was like a free advertisement for them who didn't pay to be here. So, but like I said, they're not shady. I'll tell you guys that they're not shady because they have a big customer base. People get their cards. They've been doing it for 5 years. They are trustworthy as far as getting out their cards. So they're not scamming anybody. It's just, when stuff like this happens and, it becomes a topic, we got to talk about it. We got to dissect it. And we have two different points of view on it. We have a point of view of a customer, and we have a point of view behind the scenes as a breaker. So I thought we would discuss it today and give our points of view on good and bad about it. I mean, one good thing about it from their standpoint, what I thought about the other day was you can kind of see who your true customers are when you do something like this. I mean, it's not in a good way. It's not the way I would handle it, but you could see, if you had some people that were kind of teetering on trolling you, you're really going to find out who your real MFers are and the people that aren't going to be riding with you, I guess, in a sense. So, because you do that and you kind of draw the line. So, that would be the one plus side of it, I guess, if you could take a plus away from it. But, a lot of people are really...
I give them a lot of credit. I mean, anytime I've, bounced in their room, they handle their room and they rule it with an iron fist. I mean, if you get out of line, they'll basically be like, you're done. And yeah. I wish I was more assertive like that. I respect that. And people know, you're going to have to act a certain way if you go into their room. I mean, I was talking to Rich about that same thing last night, and he does kind of the same thing. Like, if somebody comes in and they say something and he doesn't like it, there's no sitting there talking about it. It's like, you're banned, you're done, and you're out. You're done. It's one and done. We don't do that. We kind of let people come in and, mess around with us a little bit. We don't really give them much of a reaction. But
every once in a while we do.
I mean, we're dealing with the internet, and we're dealing with people who are behind a keyboard, and
right.
They're going to be tough, and they're going to that they would never say to your face. And this is something that this is where we're at in society now. This is what we have to deal with.
Right.
Internet tough guys, and just you gotta take a step back and just be like, whatever, it is what it is. I mean, it's tough to swallow, but at the end of the day, it's going to look better for your business, and it's going to look better for you if you just take the high road and just be like, you know what, don't even feed into it. Because that's all people want. They want a reaction.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what Torch said in the chat, I think you, Doug, and Dan would have respect for the card and not destroy a card like that. I would never destroy a card on purpose. Absolutely. I mean, I think this hobby is based on condition sensitive, and you're kind of making a symbol. I don't want to compare it to a flag because we're not getting into politics here. But the card itself is the lifeblood of our hobby, and yes, it's kind of like, in a sense, making a symbol, destroying our hobby. And I think that's how some people took it, regardless if it's a $200 Laurie Markkanen or a $50,000 Kobe Bryant logo man that somebody burned or something. I'm not saying that happened, but I'm saying if somebody did that. I'm saying it was the symbolism that I think hit some true hobbyists hit them deep, and I understand that. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, because that's the whole reason we're in this hobby, is to collect, and regardless of what it is, it shouldn't be any monetary value or anything. The symbolism of what happened, I think, was not okay. Now, some people make the point that, it was his card, he purchased it, that's fine, I get that. But I think the symbolism, to me, was a little off. But he had to make his he had to make his stance, and he did it. And maybe he feels better about himself. Maybe it was therapeutic for him. And that's just what works for him. So this is merely an opinion of ours, and merely something that we would not do. But as far as getting triggered,
I think the way that you can actually compare it to, and you'll relate to this, and you'll probably have an opinion on this. It was kind of like when Mark Ecko bought Barry Bonds' record-breaking home run ball, and he basically had people vote on what he wanted to do with it, and he burned an asterisk into it. That is the closest thing that I can compare it to. How did you feel about that when Mark Ecko did that? Giants fan, I was like, that's history.
That's history, but we had a lot. We were the underdogs in that situation as Bonds and Giants fans, because majority of the people were egging him on to do so. Most of the population was like, he cheated, so it was okay. But yes, I was like, that's messed up. Like, this guy just basically throwing around money and doing something to make a statement, and that seemed like a publicity statement at the time too. So, but I wanted to get into some bad emails that we've received over the years that could make us get to the edge where we rip a card. So I pulled a few of them. There's probably plenty more. I didn't have time to go over them all, but there's some pretty good reads. This one was kind of recent. I would like a partial refund on my purchase of the 2 spots. Out of the 32 teams I received, the Browns in 2 totally different breaks. It's not just a coincidence either. I've been buying for you from years and always get the Browns or the shit end of the stick. It's not right. I should get different teams, not the same ones over and over on a random style. I'd buy the Browns in PYT if I wanted the Browns. I could dispute with PayPal, or you could do me a solid and refund the Illusions or Prism break and keep the worthless hits your breaker pulled for me. I'm fine not coming back if this is how it's got to be, but do me a solid on this one because I got the shaft. So I actually replied to him saying, we do not give refunds, but here's your last 2 months of football randoms. You got the Redskins, the Niners, the Raiders, the Browns, the Cowboys, and the Colts. So to me, I was like, really, you've gotten the Browns in 2 out of the last 7 breaks, but it's a 1 in 32 shot. Anyways, he replied by saying, fuck yourself, you scandalous dick. I won't ask for a refund. You need the money worse than me, apparently. So it was 2019, by the way, guys. There was no Baker Mayfield, but there was still Baker Mayfield possibilities. But anyways, so that's, that you could be triggered from that. Hey, I need the money. I guess I'm on the corner, sucking D for crack. I guess I need the money. I just need it. That's why I'm not giving you a refund after your random. Guess not. And then there was this one. Would you kindly remove your dick from my ass, please? Keep ignoring me and treating me like a subhuman. Apparently you get off by treating me like this. I'm never going away ever. You guys completely messed up my week and then treat me like I'm the dick. So those are emails that we get. And those are just a few of them. So, behind the scenes, when people don't get what they want sometimes, which honestly, we don't have a lot of control over that. We use random.org and we open up the cases. We don't have a lot of control over that. We just, we're just facilitating. So, a lot of people sending us emails like this, and it's easy to just get triggered and go on and go on a rant online, but we don't. And I'm sure every breaker that you talk to has emails like this. And they come in regularly. What day's the best day, Dan? Monday?
Monday, right? Like Monday, I would say probably 90% of them come in on Monday. And I don't know why. I mean, it's over the weekend. I mean, Monday. Love it.
Yep. A lot of complaints on Monday.
There's nothing better than coming in after the weekend and starting your work week, and that is how you start it. And I can't even tell you how many times it happens. It happens a lot. Not quite the gems that those are. Those are really good ones, but we can have probably a whole hour show on emails, just going over them.
In the future, it's definitely going to come up. We're definitely going to do that because there's at this point, it's funny. We had a guy. There was too many explicitives, but there was a guy that I'll tell the story. I may have already told it on the show. I don't have a slide for it, but there was a guy. It was I think it was 2016 or 2017 Triple Threads, and he basically had been buying the Angels in every single case, and he didn't get a Trout, but he was getting like Cole Calhoun or whatever. So it was like 7 straight cases that he had bought the Angels. So one night he comes into the chat, and he says a bunch of like slurs, like homophobic slurs, and says, "You guys buy your cases from Walmart. This is BS. I bought the Angels. I haven't hit a Trout." He's like, you guys are, and he said like in the chat, it's a bunch of like homophobic slurs and a lot of cuss words. So, it's like, say, hey, sorry, you can't break here anymore. We can't have that in the chat. Some guys watch with their kids. We're not about having people say that in the chat. So we banned him. So the next week he buys the Angels again after we banned him. So right away we politely email him and say, hey, I'm sorry you were banned, and here's a refund. You do not have the Angels. There's plenty of other places to break. So somebody else buys the Angels, and come Friday, he says, you bees better hope that a Trout doesn't come out, or else. Basically. And so I actually responded. I said, or else what? Like, or else what? Like, what's going to happen? So I'm not joking. You could have scripted this any better. First box out of Triple Threads, 1 of 1 Mike Trout auto. I'm not shitting you. Just happened. So the tirade of drunken emails that came that night and the threats, I'm going to go, like, basically without saying it, I'm coming down there to take care of you guys, is what this guy said. He said he was...
You actually had to call the authorities and notify them what was happening.
Yeah, it was. Let me see if I could pull some of these up, because they were.
I remember, and if anybody has time, I don't know exactly what break video it was, but you can probably go back and find it, and you'll see it was the first box that came out, and if you listen in the background, you'll hear a crash. We had the way we had the old office set up is we had a divider. And I was on the other side, usually putting spreadsheets together for the next break. And that's what I was doing. I knew what the repercussions were going to be. I knew that we were going to have to be dealing with this for a while. And my reaction was to take the wireless mouse and throw it against the wall.
Because we had already gotten that warning email.
On contact.
Yeah, so...
I already got that warning email, but yeah, that wireless mouse, it died that day. It was done for that guy.
So he prompted us by saying, you better pray nothing big comes out in number 6. So it was actually number 6, so he was in the first 5. So then after the break at 8:32 that night, which was probably 11:30 his time, you hit my Trout MFers, now you're going to watch, bitches. And if your kids are watching right now or listening, mute it. Or I'll give you a couple seconds, because it's going to be a tirade of explicitives right now. So... give you 5 to 10 seconds. This episode of this podcast is going to have an E next to it, I guess. All right. So you hit my Trout, motherfuckers. Now you're going to watch, bitches. You cocksucker faggots.
Oh.
You robbed. You will pay, fuck boys. This was my Angels break, motherfuckers. These are all consecutive emails, back to back. You motherfuckers won't be breaking long. Trust me, you fucked the wrong person. I'm coming to get my money, you cocksucking faggots. I bought all the Angel breaks, and now... you will pay me, trust, and believe, you rat fags. So, once again, not from me. This was not from me, so don't censor me, YouTube. This was emails coming from this guy, and I have proof. So if you guys can say, hey, I said some hate speech. But there was more like that. It was 10 all like that, and all saying, I'm coming. I live not too far. I'm coming to say hi. I'm coming down there. I'm from Brooklyn. You think I'm from Utah, but I'm from Brooklyn. Don't worry, you'll get what you deserve. Your mothers are going to laugh. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so I'll save you from the other explicitives, because that was 10 times more explicitives than we said in the history of the show, but I was trying to really paint the picture on how it came off. But yeah, it was crazy. So I actually called. For one, I was thinking about buying a gun, which I've never bought in my life. You know, we're in California here, so I was thinking about buying a gun, and then I was thinking, I actually called the local authorities to see if I had anything, and they said because he would literally have to say, I'm coming to do something to you guys, like literally, like the threats he made were so vague they couldn't do anything. So, but it was an eye opener. And it was just, yeah. And VGN in the chat says he could have just bought Trout with as much money as he already spent in the breaks. Yes. But yeah. So that's some of the stuff that we deal with. So, when I say I kind of understand where Platinum's coming from, we get stuff like this that happens because, like Dan mentioned earlier in the conversation, people behind the keyboard are keyboard warriors. So especially when they don't have to deal with you face to face. I don't know how many times I've had an angry person in the chat or an angry person in the email, and I called them and it was fine. We talked on the phone and we were both cordial. But in the email, it was like, just typing away. So, but I've had people, the guy that said take the D out of my A that I talked about earlier, I tried to call him. He wouldn't answer. He didn't want to talk to me because he said he wouldn't have a record of our conversations. He was crazy. So, but yeah, people get behind the keyboard or they don't get what they want.
I remember when that happened. I mean, you got to remember, like, if you purchase from us, you know where to find us. You don't know who you're dealing with.
Right.
Our return address is right on there. They can show up and do whatever they want. I mean, it at that point, I'll be honest, I was scared. I was like, anytime I would see somebody walk in by the office or a car park in the parking lot, I'd be like, is this that dude? Like, is he going to come in and just, lay us out? Like, we don't know. You don't know. And nobody should have to like live their life like that. But we've thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know the mind. You don't know the mind state of people. Maybe you're like maybe their wife left them, or maybe they're I don't know. So you don't know what kind of mind state people are into. So you got to be prepared for stuff like that, and it really is an eye opener. When stuff like that happens, to make sure that you're ready for something like that. I remember I think we had some signed bats, and I asked Dan, like, is this the worst one? Because I'm gonna put it by the door. Like, it was like, I don't even know. It was like Joe Carter or some signed bat that we had gotten at a national or something. I'm like, I'm gonna put this by the door because this may be what we have to use to protect ourselves. Is this Joe Carter or whoever? I don't think it was Joe Carter. It was a no name. Joe Carter is a good name, Blue Jays legend. But it was a no name dude that was, I had the bat next to the door just in case. There's going to be some blood on that ink.
Yep.
Maybe. But VGL says, who is the best fighter at Mojo? I'm talking physical strength and training. I don't know, man. I mean, I go
Ted.
Probably Ted, yeah. Probably Ted would be the muscle of the house.
No doubt. Not even close. Not even close.
Ted, see, I'm a lefty though. Mike. I'm a lefty, so people wouldn't know the left hook coming in. They'd be prepared for the right, but I'm a lefty, so I might get one good shot in, So, but I do go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. I'm working on that bench. No, I'm just kidding. Max says TJ needs to bounce some dudes at the door. Go ahead. We're on a delay, by the way, guys.
Nice. Yeah, no. Oh, we're on a delay. Oh, wait, the broadcasting's on a delay. Yeah. I would go Ted. No doubt.
No. Yeah, we got the hidden weapon. We got the
Sorry,
hidden weapon here. So don't try to come in here. You get face planted into the glass. No, I'm just kidding. Sebastian, we just did at great lengths. We talked about it. It was early in the broadcast, and now we actually transitioned into talking about customer emails, bad ones that we've gotten over the years. So, but I wanted to talk about Sakuya. I don't even know how to say his name. Seko Dambuya, which I think this person spelled it wrong. This kid is an absolute beast. Dambuya, and his Prism Silvers have jumped. They were a couple weeks ago. They were around 20 or less, and they've jumped up to $50. The kid is an absolute freak. I mean, you could watch some of his YouTube videos, was what I was watching last night. I know he plays for the Pistons, but he has some 16-year-old FIBA international tournament footage. This kid is just so athletic. Some of his threes are ridiculous, like just almost like a robot shooting a three. It hits the bottom iron every time. It's just boom, just boom. So this kid, I don't know what his potential is. But as far as athleticism, it's he's not the size of Greek Freak, but it reminds me a lot of Greek Freak going through the lane. So, we'll see. It's early. He's only played a few games, and he's super young. So I think people are starting to pivot to the Pistons. It's something to watch going forward, as we've got another guy from the 1920 rookie class, that we can start kind of, trying to collect and speculate. So, and I know Blake Griffin is, out for the season, and the Pistons have, what sucks about the Pistons is they've been like mediocre for so many years. They're always like 15th in draft. They can't get the lottery picks. So maybe they finally hit on this guy and they can kind of build around this kid. So it's going to be exciting to watch. Yeah, a lot like Siakam too, Max. But I think his three, he hasn't shot a lot in the NBA yet, but his three might be better. So yes, Quentin, French player. Little Guinea action, right? So, but I wanted to talk about blockchain. Panini blockchains. There's still some auctions going. I believe the Kobe sold. So from what we could see,
all of them are going except for the Kobe.
Yes, they're all still up there.
All still active.
So I'm still confused about what's going down, but they started. So blockchain. It's a digital. If you didn't listen to our other podcast, it's a digital and a physical version of a card, and they came out with some heavy hitting cards. So they started them all at $100,000, and they're going down by like $100 every 5 minutes. They're currently all sitting at $45,714. So if you want to go ahead and grab a Glaber Torres for $45,000, be an idiot and do it. But if not, you can wait until it goes lower. So basically, it's going to go low until somebody buys it. And it's been going on since Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific. So it's currently at $45,000, and all the cards are up there except for Kobe. So Kobe sold for around $60,000. People think. So it is digital card, Sebastian, but there's a real card too. So you get two different versions when you buy these. So you get the digital card, which is going to be the history of the blockchain, and then you get the real version of the card too. So the person who bought the Kobe is going to get a Kobe Logo Man 101. So as you can see, there's the Damian Lillard. Stuff like that. What I didn't understand is that they said that you could sell the digital version and the physical version separate. So I don't know why you would want to not keep them together, but I don't know. So Dan, I wanted to get your opinion on blockchain, and is it going to be a success? Is it going to be a new thing?
I think and this was actually a hot topic last night as well. Everybody seemed to be talking about this. It seems the issue where they missed the mark is that they shouldn't have started all the cards at $100,000. It kind of made it look like they're not sure what the market is on some of their products. They have no idea. So the easiest thing to do is just to start it at $100,000. They should have started the Glaber Torres at $1,000. That is a card that's probably going to sell for $200 to $300. It looks dumb to have it priced at $100,000. Why? Same thing with basically all the other cards too. I mean, the only one that I think you could justify putting and starting at $100,000 is going to be the Zion Logo Man, because you don't know. It may go up for $100,000. And somebody may be like, boom, done, need it, don't care. First one in the market.
Right.
I've talked about it before. I talked about it last night as well. I'm like, people are upset. Dealers are definitely upset about this. They don't like it. They think they're watering down Logo Mans. watering down 101s, Panini printing money. But my argument is it's their product. They pay for the licensing, they pay for the production, they pay for the design, they do everything. And when they see cards on the secondary market selling for 50, 60, $70,000, they're not getting a chunk of that.
Right.
Everybody is making more money. Everybody down the chain is making more money, but the people who actually create the content, create the product, are getting the shaft and not reaping the benefits. So they were like, you know what? The hell with it. We're going to get some of that money.
Yeah, but the United States Treasury doesn't print money and then keep it. They don't just print more money to keep. Well, I don't know that for sure, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you sure? You sure? I don't know. Do they?
Who knows? But
yeah, but
go ahead.
But it's their product. It's they pay. They pay a lot of money to make this, and they do you think it's right that cards sell for $100,000, but they don't see any cut of it ever?
I mean, I do, because they could just continue to make more product. They're able to sell the $5 jersey cards with the $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 Zion card that could possibly be in there. So they're basically able to unload stuff that people don't want with, you know, being able to put these good cards in there. If they're not going to stop doing products, but yeah, this is a way that, you know, it does muddy up the collector's market. I mean, granted, it's only one card. I know the argument is there's only one card that's going into the market, but there's going to be a Zion 101 logo man that comes out. Somebody's going to pay an obscene amount for it, and you know that's going to be another logo man in the market. And the person that pulls the National Treasures logo man now has kind of some competition.
Yeah, the way I see it, it's not shady. I think if National Treasures was to come out, right? It comes out and they're like, the Zion logo man, we're not even going to put it in there. We're just going to sell it direct. Then I would be like, yeah, this is bad. All they're doing is just making another one. And they're using the blockchain as a pretty generic excuse and reasoning to be able to do that.
Right. I mean,
that. Imagine it. Imagine if they didn't. It's the same thing as they do with like the Panini Instant. All they're doing now is putting a logo man in there.
Right. Well, what I'm confused with, and I'm just reading this, I think the about blockchain confused me more than it actually helped me. So what is blockchain? The blockchain is a transformative technology that allows collectors to own, trade, sell, or auction digital assets the same way they would a physical card. The blockchain can also serve as a digital ledger tracking ownership of a blockchain asset by creating a new chain every time there is a new transaction related to the asset. The unique public-facing blockchain identifier ensures your digital asset cannot be duplicated, faked, or disputed. Think of your Panini blockchain card coming with a Panini seal of authenticity. So, but then it says, what is the physical version of my card? Exactly what it sounds like. While the card of the blockchain lives in a digital realm, it's a real one-of-one asset. Panini has been producing sports collectibles for over 60 years, and with our release of blockchain platform, wanted to bring even more value to our collectors while keeping a sense of history and pushing the boundaries of what digital collectibles could be. The physical version of the card includes an autograph of the player and in some cases may incorporate a piece of memorabilia which are represented in the blockchain version of the card. So, okay, that I get that. And then it says, can I sell or auction my cards? Absolutely. Both the digital and physical versions are yours. Okay, so now there's two different assets you're buying. So if you win these auctions, you get two different type of assets. So then if you go down to here and let me see if I can find this. Basically it says that you could sell them separate. So you could sell the digital card separate from the physical card. So for me, why would you want to do that? That's where I don't get. So If I buy this Kobe Logo Man for $60,000 and I have the digital Kobe Logo Man and I have the real Kobe Logo Man, say I sell the actual Logo Man, not the digital version, I sell it to some buddy for $60,000. So now I have a digital Bitcoin, or it's not Bitcoin, but a digital asset of this. So what's that worth to me? Is that worth $60,000 as well? Because it says there's a ledger of how much you paid. So it seems like to me they're really putting the value in the digital aspect of it, when I think the people that are buying it want the one-of-one physical aspect of it. So I'm just kind of confused on the whole thing. I expected more clarity, but I don't know.
I think, and this is just the obvious statement, I think the digital version of it and the physical version of it should be the same thing. It should work as a title to a car.
Right. That's what I thought of initially.
Sell the car, the title needs to go with it. If you basically sell a car and you're like, okay, it's your car now, but I'm going to keep the title. Well, then it's your car still. You actually didn't sell it.
Right.
So it should go. The digital should go with the physical. I don't understand why you'd want to split them up in the first place, and I don't know how you're going to be able to put individual value on both of them. Is the physical card worth $61,000 and the digital is worth nothing? Is the digital worth $30,000 and the physical card's worth $30,000? Who knows? I don't know. It makes something that's really confusing even more confusing, but
right.
unnecessary.
Yeah, because it says right here, can I sell, auction the physical or digital versions of the card but keep the other? It says absolutely. The blockchain's cards and the physical cards are separate assets, and both are yours to do with what you like. So that's where it blew my mind. That's where my mind was blown, because I thought they were together as one. And if you sold the card, so now that card can be altered, even though it will have the blockchain on it, but that card technically could be altered. And then the digital asset's separate. So I'm just all kinds of confused. I mean, we almost need an interview out here, or somebody walking us through on why somebody would want the digital version and why somebody would not want the digital. The digital version's the thing in question. And then they keep saying, will the value of my card rise and fall like Bitcoin? And it says, no, all blockchain cards are tied to the most stable currency, the US dollar. Having a stable currency as the basis of our blockchain cards allow the value of the cards to be driven by the demand of the card, also known as the collector market, the same way our physical cards gain or lose value. So what does that mean? That means my digital card is worth, I have a 60,000, if I bought the Kobe, then my digital card is 60,000 in assets? I don't get it.
We don't know.
So that means I should be able to sell my Logo Man, the physical, for $30,000, and I still have a $60,000 digital asset for it. So I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either. I'm probably gonna have to get going in like 5 minutes.
Battery's about to die?
Yeah, they've already. No, not the battery's about ready to die, but they have that dinner thing going soon.
Oh, I got you.
So, but yeah,
I think you can log off.
I still got like 5 minutes.
Are you sipping Bush? Are you sipping Bush beer? Ed asks.
No, it's Corona.
Oh, okay.
And
Corona.
I drank, and then Fins and Feathers. Actually, I just drank that one.
Oh.
It was like a Sierra Nevada.
Gotcha.
Wasn't the best beer I ever had.
Would you? VGLN asks. VGLN asks, would you rather have a physical girlfriend or a digital girlfriend? That's pretty funny. So, but I'll end it by talking. I'll end the show by talking about the biggest break ever. It's actually coming up now. It's next Friday. So we've been talking about this for the last 3 weeks. It's almost here. It's next Friday. It's an event. 325 boxes, 883 hits, 15 different years. Some of the top stuff already came in, but we're getting more top stuff in to give away for free as well. It's coming in tomorrow, so there'll be some news on that. We're going to probably have a celebrity breaker in the house. It's going to be a fun event. Already 6 or 7 spots have already sold, so jump in on it. It's going to be the break of a lifetime. 25 total spots, random team styles. We're going to start it Friday night around 4 o'clock, and then we're going to finish it starting Saturday morning. We're going to start again, so like 10 o'clock. So it's going to be insane, so make sure you don't miss out on that. And that's pretty much all I got. Thanks, Dan, for making it happen on the road.
Also, before I go, another little tidbit about that. Also, another topic last night that came up: the biggest break ever. Rich is a little upset with you promoting it as the biggest break ever. He said there should be a disclaimer on it because it's not true.
It's the biggest baseball mixer ever.
That's what I said. He said that you should have put that as a disclaimer on the bottom.
Oh, I guess I'm just gonna have to do a bigger football break then. We'll have to do $1,000 football break then. $1,000 bucks, not $1,000. Hey, we might be able to do $1,000 1,000 boxes. We'll get the cheapest boxes.
Hey,
you know. But anyways, yeah, I figured he would say something like that. 'Cause I know he does the Super Bowl mixers, but this is the biggest baseball break of all time. Biggest baseball mixer.
Yeah, he said it's
in terms of value.
It's the third biggest break ever.
Ah, okay. All right.
You should have. You could have put that. You're like, it doesn't really pop that well from a marketing standpoint. If you're like 61st biggest break ever.
Yeah, right.
75th
exactly.
biggest break ever.
No kidding.
So yeah, third biggest break ever.
Wow. Okay, but the biggest baseball mixer ever. I'm not joking. I know. I did my research.
That is true. That is true. But yeah, I thought you would like that. So
that's pretty funny.
Yep, and that's it. I'm gonna go. Before we go, so Upper Deck is gonna bring their main event, the main person down tonight in about 15 minutes. Any guesses on who it's gonna be?
Guesses in the chat. Who's Upper Deck bringing?
Maybe Doug.
You're in Florida. Let's say
Florida.
Barry Sanders. Again.
You think that they're gonna bring out Barry Sanders as like they brought out Wayne Gretzky last year.
Yeah, but that was the 30th.
Great one.
That was the 30th. This is 31st. And last time they were in Florida, it was Barry Sanders. So
they got him on speed dial,
huh? Is Tampa Bay Lightning? Is the Lightning in town? It was a little Stamkos, maybe.
No, I have no idea who it's going to be, but I'm going to say it's going to be an Upper Deck exclusive person.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Tiger Woods.
No. Oh, he does live in Florida, doesn't he?
I think it's going to be Tiger Woods. I think it's going to be Tiger Woods.
All right. Well, Yank said Tiger Woods. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be Tiger Woods. I think they spent all that budget last year on getting Kevin Smith and Wayne Gretzky. I think this year you got to save the cost. Plus, they're in Disney World. It costs a lot of money to be there. So, it's going to be a.
They already brought out. They already brought out the big guns and brought in Mo Bamba.
Oh yes, totally. So, or it could be Miles. Hey! It could be Bridges. Could be Miles Bridges. Well, that's Charlotte. I don't know where they're playing. So, but anyways, all right. Well, we're gonna sign off. I'm gonna play the intro again. Thanks, Dan. I'll see you Monday, and we'll see you guys later next week on the Hype 121.
Go Minnesota.
You're cutting out there, Dan. You're cutting out, Dan. You're cutting out. Later.